Welcome back to the lovely city of Shanghai, the city upon the sea. 24 million in attendance in the city, but not necessarily in the ChinaJoy. But hey, you never really know. ChinaJoy is where we're all going this weekend, and I can assure you that that's where the best Counter-Strike is going to be played. Of course, you've got to get there first. And before we go any further, I just want to take a second, a moment of silence for Franker Z. So if we could just do that, let's do that now. Okay. That was a little much. Now, NRG versus HellRaisers is where we find ourselves, boys. The first best of 3 winners match is that for the day. Now, this one could be a little topsy-turvy.
I mean, it could be the potential final of this event. I feel both teams have what it takes to get there. I think it's two of the more prominent teams who have this tournament as well. We have to take into account that HellRaisers is playing without their star player in Voxix, so it is a wounded animal going in against NRG. Ooh. Whereas when you look towards NRG, I mean, they failed at the major. They failed in the minor qualifier, so also wounded. We have two teams who are kind of not feeling too comfortable.
I think two storylines as well, right? Like for NRG, it's about making a point here that the minor failure was just an aberration. It's not going to happen again. But for HellRaisers, like just speaking to them, I spoke to John when they were on the way to the hotel. I spoke to Angel's interview as well, right? It's more like a vacation for them. Like, Voxic's not there. It's okay. Just going to go for a very deep run. But I do agree with you. Looking at how all over the place Gambit felt like, I think these two teams alongside Tyloo right now are the 3 teams in the contention, at least to make it to the grand finals here.
Well, they definitely are. After the Tyloo we just saw, it was rather
ferocious.
They were really powerful, you know, and that was kind of uplifting in that right, because they're also a team that has been talked about over the years to really kind of just be all over the place. I remember when they first introed onto the scene. But anyway, that's not the 2 teams we're talking about now. Perhaps we talk a little bit about the stand-in situation over on the HellRaiser side. Yeah,
I think the biggest problem here is going to be the best maps, right? Like Dust 2 has been a mainstay for them recently, and that's built primarily around Voxix AWP. Now, Fetz, let's be honest, like he's a pretty capable operator, but he does not really fill in those shoes like perfectly the way Voxix has been such a hard carry, especially in a map like Dust 2, especially in Mirage, and even in Train, you know, a map where he can be instrumental. You have Issa, who's been really stepping it up. He's been solid as well, but I think the stand-in situation here is going to be a problem, considering that NRG have the entire full lineup there, and they're pretty comfortable on the maps that HellRaisers are very solid on as well.
Now, you say NRG. Now, I think this could be your bread and butter, because you've played alongside some of these guys, maybe not perhaps on the same team. But Jacob, talk to me about this NRG lineup and perhaps the contrast of young versus old within the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lineup that has pretty much everything in terms of both new young guns who are just shining through and breaking through the scene, whereas Debs is the in-game leader, a guy who's by this point pretty old school, I'd say. He's been going through a lot. I mean, it's a team that we had hopes for them for quite some time, then they left it down, and all of a sudden they found Cirque, a Bulgarian beast, owning it up with AVP basically, brought him to NA, and now all of a sudden they're a team that can be reckoned with, not only in NA, but in the entire world. The biggest problem for me with these guys is that they crumpled under pressure. When it really mattered the most, they didn't qualify for the major, and that was a big no-no.
That's got to be a big hit on the heart, too. I mean, that's got to be one that you look at each other and like, man, guys, we really boffed this one up a little bit. But the vetoes do come through. You are going to note that it's ban, pick. And, of course, this is a best of 3, so there will be 3 maps played in entirety. Mirage overpass, and I feel like this was going to Train. You know what? As I say it, there it is. What do you guys think about this map pool?
I think this makes sense, right? Like, NRG usually go for the Mirage ban, but then again, Dust 2 is a map they really are not that comfortable on, and they just took it out. Now, here's the thing, right? I would have, if I was NRG, I would have let Dust 2 through, just because Voxic's not there, and they could have probably done some damage over there, but it would have been either a Dust 2 ban or a Mirage ban. So kind of expected results here, but just looking at these map picks, Overpass, a map that HellRaisers is really not that comfortable on, and NRG is so dominant on as well. And then Train, kind of 50-50. I think this could really go all the way.
Yeah, I think it's an even matchup. I agree with what Blair said in terms of the maps. Without Voxic, it's going to become a different game. You know, Dead Fox can't pick up the AVP for HellRaisers. He used to be an AVP player before he joined, but he's not as strong as Voxic, and he's not as dominant, especially in overpasses yet. The only weapon they really have on the map is Voxic going around.
But on the bright side, I would say the fact that they have Fetz coming in as well, who has played with them in the past. He is an operator as well, so they can still have that dual up setup that they have used many times on maps like Train, for example, right? So we can potentially see that. We're going to be seeing Mirage as well, where dual up setup might work out, but the question remains. Speaking to John earlier, I asked him, like, are you really going to be changing your play style just to fit in Fetz here? You know, try to go back to the old days when he used to play with you guys, or are you going to just, you know, make him do what Voxix does usually? And he's like, you know what? We just like played for like 4 or 5 days. We had after the vacation thing, so we just kind of mix things up a little bit and try and catch some teams off guard. So we might see something a little bit surprising, I feel here.
little bit surprising would be the posture of this man right here, who's seemingly upset at something, or he's just jamming. Yeah, I think he's getting down on some music. What do you think he's listening to, Pimp?
50 Cent.
All right. What's your take on that one, Blay? Would you say 50 Cent? I wouldn't. But
I don't know, man. It could be some metal. He's like going to like some Viking metal going on there, just looking to kill some Americans.
Don't know. Wow. Okay. Don't know that necessarily. Yeah, be a Viking thing for these guys. Maybe he's listening to like the Beastie Boys or something. I have a
could
like,
be.
Like Sabotage or Paul Revere. Paul Revere is a classic people sleep on all the time. Either way, it does appear as though they will be strapping those headsets on. You can see Fugly there on your screen. On the screen. Getting warmed up. Sitting rather close to his screen. I don't know how I feel about that. What do you think, Pimp?
I feel good about it, Trace.
Okay, outstanding. Well, I think we're almost at that point, but I guess I should ask you guys for your final predictions, and let's keep it down to about 2 sentences roughly apiece.
I'll give you a word right there, NRG.
It's gonna lose.
Well played, guys.
I didn't say anything. I just said NRG.
Okay.
Playing it safe.
You got anything you want to add on top of that?
No, okay. I just think it's going to go down to the wire, but I think NRG just seem like, as an absolute unit, they seem much better on paper. And HellRaisers, they have the entire stand-in factor, right? NRG, I just think are just going to take it, especially map number 3. It's going to be a close series, though.
We're going to 3 maps.
Yeah, we're going to 3
That's
maps.
already your prediction.
Yep.
Pimp, I would like you to add something to this equation. Literally anything will do at this point.
I think HellRaisers is going to win. They are off vacation mode into the game, and I think NRG pretty much is already on vacation. This is the last event for them. They failed the major. That was the big goal. Now they have nothing to play for.
They would want to win this as well, but yeah.
Sure thing. Everyone wants to win, but they're going to lose this one.
Everybody wants to win, but ultimately only one of these teams will. NRG versus HellRaisers, and we're kicking it off with a new casting duo, and I believe it's Harrietta sitting over there taking it by.
Thank you very much for that one, Trace. Yes, NRG versus HellRaisers. That is going to be the game that we see before us, and already it's well and truly underway. Issa already opening things up, finds that first frag down through middle, and they're going to start to wrap on round in through jungle, looking to try and collapse into this A bomb site.
They are indeed, Harry, already at Cirque, the Bulgarian star here from NRG to close things out towards Connector. Well, it's Nathan already getting frags.
Cirque spots one, but it's not meant to be. Breezy going to fall as well, and Daps is left in a 1 versus 3. Now down from CT, tagged on up. 8 HP, able to tap onto Dead Fox, so maybe you have some faith in him now. Bonding going to concentrate on trying to get that bomb down. Daps just edging further forward. So close to going down along in the same boat of Bondic, of course, but Daps going to find it now, a 1v1, and Angel only admittedly needs to land 1 shot. He buys his time down in Connector, and through the smoke, he's going to find it. HellRaisers, they manage to hold on. They find themselves the pistol here in this best of 3.
Well, Harry. Fast round from HellRaisers to kick things off here at Shanghai. A fast mid-burst to catch that player in towards window, get the man advantage, flood in through Connector. We saw as well Dead Fox. I mean, for HellRaisers, typically on the pistol rounds, it is going to be Dead Fox, Wood in the utility, doing the smokes, doing the grenades, smokes off the top of jungle, basically rendering Resi useless towards CT, can't peering towards Connector, cannot stop the split going in towards the A site, blocking off the vision and getting those Glocks up close and personal in towards jungle and wreaking havoc.
Well, I might get to see a little bit more havoc here, as they've taken control of mid early on. There's still the Deagle at Breezy for them to try and get past, and has managed to claim that first kill. Going to be answered back by Fates, who, despite being the stand-in, it's actually his 2nd time appearing in Shanghai with this squad. He was here for the Star Series Invitational not that long ago. Well, those Deags doing damage once again. The bomb's actually been dropped in the plain view of the window here. They're going to have to smoke it off. Ethan going to fall at the hands of Bondic over at bench, leaving Fugly now 1v3, and he's going to look to try and get out of there, perhaps. Not too much love for him in this round as he backs away.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with the Deagle, the AK as well salvaged towards Connector, best off just to save the weaponry in for round number 3. Can drop over the Deagle as well to Ethan, to Cirque, trying to have an impact there towards middle. But apart from that, it will be the save from Fugly. HellRaisers kicking things off the 2-0 lead. Frags as well for the MAC-10 from Fets, so in terms of cash, definitely going to be apparent here for HellRaisers early on. A question as well, will they carry on the MAC-10 into the next buy round here, Harry? HellRaisers could go for a fast set piece into that first buy round in round number 4. But so far looking good here for HellRaisers. Actually, we didn't really have time to talk about the matchup before it started, Harry. Who are you favouring in this best of 3?
For me, I have to go with NRG.
Yep.
I'll be honest. I think, you know, HellRaisers obviously not having Walkstick here with them going to cause them a lot of problems. And that's kind of been a reoccurring trend for HellRaisers, I think, throughout this year. It feels like they really can't catch a break. And this NRG roster, they've been going from strength to strength. They kind of, you know, messed up at the minors. A lot of people were expecting them to do well there, and of course, they fell short. But I think if anything, that's going to spur you on to do better here in Shanghai. There's a lot of talent on this roster, so I'm going to have to lean their way. What about you?
I have to agree. I mean, we look at the maps as well. We're seeing Train, we're seeing Overpass. I mean, maps which notoriously HellRaisers are strong on, but these are maps where the AWP is so prevalent. I mean, CT side Overpass notoriously. We look over at Train, a map that is fabled by the AWP play from the teams that are strong on it. And when you do lack your star player, your star AWPer, it is going to be hindrance on maps such as those. So in terms of the veto, I think you can give a pat on the back to NRG, Daps, Amapet, whoever it was, to getting these maps which rely heavily on AWPers. The fact that it is Fett standing in, and they really are exploiting that. Anyway, though, Harry, action towards the B bomb site is HellRaisers. Lose a few players, or just Fett early on.
Actually, they lose Angel to the Glock on Cirque as well, and that's going to cause them that many more problems. Now, Issa's able to trade things back. Fugly now comes rotating in, going to look to try and join up with Ethan, who lies in wait down there towards CT. And this scavenged AK, it's managed them 1 kill. Dead Fox and Issa left to try and overcome. Dead Fox wrapping up through connector. That's going to force Fugly away from jungle. Right now stuck between a rock and a hard place. Doesn't really want to risk going back in for this repeat. It's a pretty horrid angle to go through, but he's going to go for it anyway. Edging forward, Dead Fox other side of that smoke, and Fugly, no idea. This should be his demise. Dead Fox peeks out, finds him. HellRaisers going to pick up the third. They find the pistol. They convert the 2 anti-ecos as well, but now we see the buy come in for NRG.
Economical damage, though, dealt by NRG. Only 2 players surviving from the last round from HellRaisers. So once the buys do come through, I mean, $1,000 now for Bondic. But apart from that, the cash is still affluent here for HellRaisers. And a question I had asked was, were they going to keep these MAC-10s, keep the Galils into the next buy round and try something fast, but obviously losing those players to Cirque, to Fugly as well. Instead, they are going to be reinvesting into the AKs. So mid-control early on here from HellRaisers, sending 3 players here with a smoke in towards window to render Cirque useless early on. Which means, with mid-control here for HellRaisers, how do they structure their T sides? Is this going to be a team that takes those 1 versus 1s towards ramp, towards B? I mean, if Dead Fox gets the frag onto Daps, flushes him out, then maybe they can try steer their gaze towards A.
Well, they've already opened up with the man advantage over on the side of NRG. That's not going to be easy now to try and answer back from for HellRaisers. In response to it, they have been able to get control of mid. So while they've lost Issa, they've taken map control elsewhere, and now they're going to look to try and continue this aggression up through short. Peeking around, it's going to be Fates, the stand-in, the man that we've been speaking a decent bit about, and he spots out Cirque. He's going to win the clash of the AWPers. Second for him as well. Daps able to get the trade, and all that plus a little bit more. Angel suddenly left in a 1v3, barreling out from the apartments, and 2 players inside of this bomb site. It's not meant to be, as Daps leads by example for NRG. They're going to find themselves their first round in the rifles there. And on the back of it, as you kind of highlighted, Snods, it's going to be economic damage for HellRaisers, meaning that a buy is nothing more than a distant dream at this point in time.
Perfect play from NRG. They concede mid-control early. We saw from Cirque, as soon as the smoke landed in towards window, rotates back in towards connector, can flash in his teammates towards ramp. NRG get the reactive play, get the first frag in towards ramp, that then basically forces HellRaisers' hand to then go in for the B split towards the B side. Cirque gets caught off guard there by Fets with the AWP, obviously the right-eye peek. We know that Cirque is a very fast AWPer, but as Fets peeked from the right side, because of Counter-Strike rules and logic, he did have the advantage, and this time it's favoured to him. Man advantage here for NRG, but obviously it is going to be the eco from HellRaisers, so this is now a round for NRG where they can stack up the cash, have a clean round. 3, 4, 5 players stay alive here, trying to avoid having to reimburse themselves with rebuying Kevlar, rebuying utility, and dropping over weapons to get that cash on that CT side afloat.
Now, we've seen these pistols have been doing a pretty decent job of doing damage thus far this round. That'd be great for HellRaisers if that could continue to be true. Only one kill found right now, and it looks like that might all they're able to get. I mean, Fate's left in a 1v4, just not happening for him. So NRG keep things fairly clean, second round under their belt. But now that buy will be coming in for HellRaisers. I do think the most interesting talking about still right now is going to be the stand-in of Fates over on the side of HR. Do you have any, saucy information for us? Do you want to try and break us down who this stand-in is? For those of you watching at home who aren't quite familiar with this HellRaisers roster.
The funny thing is, Harry, Fates has been around the block, we could say. Played in a few UK teams a few years back. Obviously, he has transitioned away from that into the European teams. Actually played for a team at this event when he went over to China, 5-Power. So the core of 5-Power have actually played with Fets, and they are in the same group. So there could be a spicy matchup if 5-Power beat VP and if HellRaisers lose this matchup. That could be one to see or one to witness if there is that rivalry still there between the former teammates. But enough of the future and into the current day. Bondic with the first frag in towards ramp, a 5 versus 4 this time for the international squad. HellRaisers with the lead. And now how are they going to try and manipulate that advantage? There's still a minute 15 left on the clock. NRG have lost control towards B, lost control towards middle. They go for the gamble stack towards the A site. And so far, Harry, the investment just hasn't paid off.
It certainly has not. Now, they're going to start to send a couple of players back over here towards B. Daps even, securing that M4 from ramp. And Deadfox did a great job of getting their attention. He's pulled over so many players from NRG. They even lose Daps inside of the A bomb site, and just like that, this fragile house of cards has come tumbling down around them. It's going to be a HellRaisers round by the looks of things as NRG fall on back, look to try and hold on to the AK and the AWP over here in the apartments. HR are going to be moving on to a 4th, and they do look to send Angel hunting. The money isn't great for this T side, but they know that anything they can take out of the hands of NRG is going to be worth its weight in gold.
NRG trying their hand at saving. Fugly gets the timing off onto Angel, so he will survive into the next one. A few seconds left on the bomb, as NRG will save 2 players, Fugly and the AWP from Cirque as well. So in terms of cash here, Harry, obviously we spoke prior versus the Eco. NRG had to have a clean round to be able to afford, if they lost the round, to avoid the reset, to have enough for the full buy, which they will do now as you head into round number 7. So far for HellRaisers, mid control has been so easy for them. It feels like a smoke towards window, a smoke towards top mid, almost concedes mid control from NRG. They try and fight back, they try and take ramp control. The problem is Bondic was ready for it this time. The last time it was caught in ramp, this time it was playing on the little ledge from behind, waited for the flashbang, then got the first frag, and HellRaisers manipulated the map to get that advantage with a split through connector in towards the A site. And this time, Harry, NRG taking the fight to HellRaisers.
Yeah, they now have to switch something up over here in mid. Angel, though, doing the damage, has been able to find 2. The trade's there from Fugly. It comes in fast. It's now Daps looking once again to try and lock down this B bomb site, but he gets wrapped onto by Issa. The trade is there. It's a 2v2. NRG desperately trying to claw their way back into this round, but Issa, he's decapitated the beast that lied in wait down over towards short. Ethan left 1v2, and he's going to have to back away. Is he going to try and go for this? Could wrap Brown over onto short. That looks to be the call.
Yeah, the defuse kit was dropped by Fugly towards short, so he smoked off towards kitchen, has the angle now towards short, picks up the defuse kit and the AK as well. An increase in firepower, and he's going to need those one-shot headshots if he wants a chance into this one. But instead, Fets will find the final frag here, Harry. So it goes 5-2, and that will be the reset, or the cash now basically gone back to 2,000. There isn't going to be enough here for NRG to invest into. $2,000 across the board, so they can go for, upgrade in terms of the pistols. We can see a couple of CZs, maybe Kevlar as well, but in terms of an affluent buy, it isn't going to be here just yet.
No, definitely not. And one thing that's a little bit worrying, I think, early on is how easily HellRaisers are taking control of middle. I mean, you look over at NRG, you have Cirque in this roster. He's a man that so many players talk about as being, the next kind of big standout AWPer. I was going to say within NA, but obviously he's not from North America. He's Bulgarian. But, regardless, he's a very, very talked about player within this roster, and he's been struggling to help out over here in middle. Currently sits bottom of the board for NRG, if I'm not mistaken. That is the case. 3 kills to his name right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it is early days. Only 8 rounds in, and he's the primary AWPer. And how many rounds has he really had the AWP? Maybe 2, maximum of 3. So to have his impact, it will be difficult, especially with HellRaisers targeting that position of the map towards middle. But yeah, I mean, you're right. So far for HellRaisers, it has been a breeze. They've done the smoke towards window. They've done the smoke towards top of mid. NRG make the right play. They concede middle. They flash in towards ramp. They get the first frag and the first buy, and they win it. The problem is HellRaisers is a smart team. Angel is so good at switching things up on the fly. He makes the right adjustment. Bondik plays a passive angle towards ramp. HellRaisers take mid. Bondik expects the ramp push. He gets the frag. The round's over. NRG push towards middle. HellRaisers hold. They get the frags, and they win the round. For me, Harry, this next round really says it all. NRG, they've tried the mid push. They've tried something towards short where they left the apps open, went double short play. They've tried the push in towards ramp as well. They have to get quite creative if they want a chance.
Well, I'm going to boost Cirque up, but he will get the drop on Fates. Now it's Issa and Bondik left 2 versus 3. They have the bomb down and time working against NRG here. Sees Issa just dismantling this attempted retake as he drops both players down towards short. HellRaisers is going to be moving very, very swiftly onto a 6th round. Let's not forget, though, that was just the partial buy-in from NRG. They're going to have a shot at the real buy here. They're going to take a tactical pause as well, I think, justifiably so. Currently, HellRaisers sitting 6-2 up. And sort of one of the problems, you run into playing on the CT side. It's a lot more expensive to buy. So you can get in this trap where you be in a situation, you buy, then you lose, then you save, and you just rinse and repeat that.
I think the good thing to see here, Harry, is actually the pause. One of the issues we had at the minors with NRG was the fact of maybe getting complacent or confident, not calling for those pauses when you have 4 to dissect what your opponent is doing. Sometimes the best thing in a pause is just not to speak at all. If there is arguments happening, there is a bit of animosity in that roster. Just take a breather, relax, and mentally reset. However, for NRG, they're going to have to be on their toes in this one. If they lose this round, Harry, it's going to be 7-2 in another round where they are onto pistols. So we could be seeing an 8-2 advantage for HellRaisers, where arguably they're winning the half already. But anyway, once again, mid-control here from HellRaisers. This time, though, NRG going to be going for the double short play. They could boost on the boxes there and peer over that smoke, try and get the advantage. But instead, Ethan going to be in towards CPL, holding for the window boost here, as they heavily lean towards B.
It's a much slower start to the round from HellRaisers this time. Not too keen to go running into the waiting guns of NRG. Of course, NRG coming off the back of the tactical pause here as well. So HellRaisers now switching up the pace in response to that.
Really good change here from NRG. Fugly now playing towards connector. Cirque playing towards CT with the AWP, and this is going to allow for him to have those long-range duels, those long-range shots that other AWPer is dreaming of. And now into the 4 versus 3. Ethan as well pushing this smoke, gets the double frag, even the third as well as the isolates the headshot onto Issa. And it's going to be the hat-trick of frags towards jungle from one of the stars from NRG to grant themselves that 3rd round. But just to go back onto the point, we saw a great adjustment. This time they're not trying to battle for map control. They're allowing HellRaisers to walk into the scope and walk into the plays from the star players of NRG.
And I have to ask, who would be your man to watch for each one of these teams? I know we're a little bit into this now, but if you had to just pick one, quick and concise as you can, who would it be?
Ethan from NRG, and I would say Issa from HellRaisers. But we can talk about that maybe down the road, as I'm sure more pauses will come if NRG loses round, Harry, because they're going to be onto another reset, and this could be a dreadful, abysmal half for them if that does come around. But anyway, aggression towards underpass from NRG is met by the resistance of HellRaisers. So 5 versus 4 here early on. And one of the things you have to give credit to Angel for is how good he is at converting that one-man advantage. A methodical player on that T side. And he's one of these scary in-game leaders, as when you give him that advantage, he's so good at squeezing out everything you give him.
Yeah, I mean, just as you said, they've picked up that man advantage now. They're going to look to try and take control of the top of mid here, knowing that NRG are going to have their men stretched thin across the map. You can see the attempted response from NRG, pushing Ethan down here towards ramp, but it's given them a bit more of a stronger foothold down here towards A, but hasn't netted them all too much information. In response, HellRaisers clearing out short, wrapping in through apartments, looking like it's going to be the B split. There's 30 seconds left on the clock here. Daps and a Breezy to hold down this B bomb site. Daps going to fall at the first hurdle, and Breezy, well, things do not go too well for him as Issa finds a frag on the entry. It's just Cirque and Ethan left alive. They're going to have to go ahead and leave. Look to try and hold on to the AK and the AWP between them. And they've actually been spotted retreating back into Palace as well. HellRaisers going to be hot on their heels on the hunt.
HellRaisers have the cash to go for the hunt as well. And as they do spot a player in towards Palace, they can maybe expect both of them to be there. As Ethan, Cirque, the players to look out for the NRG roster here at this event, are slowly being basically hunted down. As Ethan finds one, we'll telegraph exactly where he is. So we should have been seeing the quicker trade potentially from Angel as they walk one by one into the crosshair of Ethan. But even then, HellRaisers can still be rather content with the fact they are into 7 rounds here. And they have once again reset the cash from NRG. And I'd like to see a pause here. The reason being is for NRG, the last time they took a pause, they made a very good adjustment on their CT side in terms of reeling back that aggression and playing more passive. And I believe we are into a pause, which we are. A tactical one at that from NRG, and that will be the second of theirs so far. So, Harry, what should we see from NRG? Before that was good was Cirque going towards CT at the start of the round. Obviously, if you are AWPing on that CT side of Mirage, you are useless towards middle. The reason is they are smoking off towards window. They are smoking out towards top middle. You can go in towards connector and try and, you know, spot the cross towards the back boxes or hope that someone pushes that smoke in towards short. But the problem is you can't rely on those sort of plays. Instead, you'd much rather have a rifle being dynamic towards the smoking connector, being able to delay the T side with those smokes, with those flashes, basically trying his best to be a thorn in the side of the players towards middle from HellRaisers. So having him AWPing towards CT is a very good adjustment. The question is, where does he go now? As he has been sent towards mid. No smoke though from HellRaisers towards middle, so maybe this is the difference they were looking for.
And right now the read from NRG is to go for a heavy presence over here towards this A bomb site. They have 4 players this side of the map, putting a lot of faith in Daps to anchor down this B bomb site all on his lonesome. Armed with only a UMP, it's a pretty ballsy statement to make, but he's going to try his hardest.
It is actually a really good setup here from NRG. So far for HellRaisers, if they are coming towards the B site, Harry, it's been towards short. And if they go towards A, it's in towards connector as well. So it's all about mid control. If you're NRG, how can you get more bodies towards mid? Well, what you can do is get B-Apps control early on, Molotov the back, smoke the back, push in as well. He has the UMP, so he can play the close quarters position. Then have an extra player go in towards window, allow for the window player to then play towards connector, and that way you have 3 players towards the A site. You can play that gamble stack. So, for NRG, is gambling towards the A site going to be their pitfall here into this one? As already Daps is about to be challenged.
He is indeed. He's able to win that first duel. There's no one wrapping short this time, so he's been afforded a bit more ground to play with. But Issa's not keen on sharing his space. Going to go ahead and delete Daps from this B-bomb site. Now into the 4-on-4. Cirque immediately in with the trade. They do lose out Ethan. And already, the cavalry has arrived over at short. The UMP's eager to chime in with some frags, but Fates and Issa not going to let that happen. Cirque finished off as well. HellRaisers, a convincing round of their name, an 8th on the board, and the money back down in the dumps for NRG. And I mean, now it's a pretty tricky spot to be in for them. They're in that sort of situation where they're buying, then they lose the round, then they have to save, and you know, very, very quickly you can see HellRaisers just look to run away with this first half.
Yeah, I mean, we're into round 12 already, and another eco here from NRG. This time there is no Kevlar to back up those pistols. They've had a few close rounds with pistols, with, you know, a saved AK, for example, but this time there's no Kevlar to back it up. The aim punch is going to be a massive factor, and already they lose 2 players in towards middle. As we see, 5 versus 3, once again in favor of HellRaisers, as it seems almost like fate, Harry, that we're going to be seeing a 9-3 scoreline.
Yeah, I think that's almost definitely the case at this point in time. And yeah, I mean, this is one of the things, though. This is the interesting point. Fate's coming in, being that stand-in, replacing Woxic, who a lot of people, you know, say is the star of this HellRaisers squad. I don't think there's, you know, that much disputing it. But You can kind of see the effect it's had. Fate's someone who, as you said, he's been around the block. He's played in a lot of teams. We just saw him play recently in the CIS minor. I believe he was standing in with Plink off the top of my head. I think that was the team he was playing for there. And he was the top performer on the team, right? So for him, I mean, every single chance he gets to prove himself playing as a stand-in is just that. You know, this is his way of advertising. He's trying to show that he's still a name that teams would want to pick up looking into the rest of 2018. So, you know, he can kind of be put in these positions where, you know, now he can, you know, be the star, albeit temporarily.
I think an example to make would be Croman. Obviously, trying his best to almost sell himself, put himself on display, obviously standing in for FaZe, having great achievements there, top 4 finishes, even winning as well at ESL. Belo Horizonte, I believe is the Brazilian pronunciation of that one. But even then, he's standing in, he's trying to sell himself to these organizations as a free agent during the player break to try and get into a top team. Could argue the same for Fets. Obviously, the last time HellRaisers were in Shanghai, Fets was on the roster. I believe that was a Star Series you were at. However, now we're into the buy round here once again. 13th round, Harry. Action this time towards the A site as once again HellRaisers changing things up.
Yeah, they've gone barreling in towards this A bomb site, and they've taken it seemingly with ease. It's going to be 4v4 in this retake. And the bomb goes down. That's going to go ahead and get planted for CT and ramp, so they do have their options open. Trades go left and right, but Dead Fox finding a quick double. He's hungry for a bit more, maybe bites off more than he can chew as Fugly's coming with the trade frag. Now time ticking down. 2v2 and NRG, time is on the clock and running against them. Zerk taps on the bomb, that's going to bait the peek out from ramp. Issa there with the first, but Fate's able to trade. As once again, he trumps Zerk in that fight. A 10th round for HellRaisers, and seems like a phrase we keep saying is that the economy for NRG's run out once again.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue once again to go for the pause here. If you're trying to save your pauses for the second half, there may not be too much to play for. It's already 10-3. We are going to be going to the 14th round. No pause called yet for NRG, as they have the round loss bonus to go for the CZs, the Deagles, the Kevlars, to back up those upgraded pistols. However, with the track record of HellRaisers versus these pistols, this could also be an 11th round for HellRaisers. And at the bare minimum there, an 11-4 half could already be too much for NRG to deal with. But so far, I mean, credit to Angel. These calls have been so good. It's almost like a game of chess. So far, HellRaisers have been exploiting NRG towards middle, and Angel is anticipating Daps to put a presence towards mid. So what does he do to counter that? He does the smokes towards A, anticipating a heavy mid focus from the CTs. And because of that, he quarantines off that site, he gets the A side in his favor, and he knows his boys have the communication to win the afterplant. Oh my goodness, Harry. A few of these kills have gone under the radar. It's going to be the man advantage here for NRG. As with the AKs, with the SMGs, with the upgraded pistols, they've now got themselves in a favorable position.
Yeah, they most certainly have. Fates is dead in one shot as well. Breezy going to be pushing up here towards the top of mid. Here's the footsteps and lines himself up the third kill of the round. Fates, the stand-in left alive, but he's going to be made to sit down as Breezy finds for the top of mid. NRG, just with pistols and armor behind them, they managed to find a fourth at a critical juncture in the game. Now a chance at a 5-10 half as we approach the final round of this first half here in map 1. And NRG certainly been given a fighting chance here, at least, to produce something salvageable for their second half.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if they could try and make this one a 10-5, win that second half pistol, they can get back into this one. But into the final round here of this first half, Harry. The map pick from HellRaisers, and they're showing us why right now. Aggression up towards middle as Ethan is so close, dodges the flashbang as well with the first frag in the favor of the North Americans. And now no refrag as well from Fets, gets cold feet about pushing that one, and instead the aggression now from HellRaisers is in towards the A side.
Yeah, but already immediate rotation to come through from NRG. There's 4 players here. Issa, he's been fantastic. He has to continue this form. He's found himself a quick double. Not content with that. Does go for the frag on a Breezy. Doesn't come through. Very, very quickly, actually, the opportunity that Issa found is eluded HellRaisers. Dead Fox has been able to get through short, though, and now he's the man to keep an eye on.
Exactly that. Going in towards short, he can try come in from the rear, and NRG may not be expecting or anticipating this sort of play. They're going to be conceding the A site and going up as a three-man unit in towards middle, clearing out all the angles and cracks and crevices of this map towards mid. But this gives so much room now for Dead Fox to pull a fast one, as we would say from the UK, and slip in from behind and come in towards CT spawn. He's going to be hearing these steps as well from Breezy in towards connector.
They've got no idea. There's the frag from Dead Fox, and now the penny drops. An entry from behind is almost always painful. Dead Fox making it so. Bomb goes down.
Yeah, they can plant for connector as well. This is perfect for HellRaisers. They have to plant in their favor. Ooh, maybe not actually, Harry.
Yeah, quick frag found from Fugly. Fakes. Now left in a 1v2. The bomb planted for mid and ramp. He's got to try and hold this off from CT. He has a Molotov, goes in and gets that down on the bomb, but they swarm onto him and Daps is able to pick it up. They have a smoke for the defuse. Even then, they had plenty of time. NRG, they managed to cling on and find themselves a 5th round there at the end of this first half. It's going to be 5-10 in favor of HellRaisers on their map pick. The second half still yet to come in this best of 3. We'll be back with that after a quick break. Well, it's been a fantastic performance thus far from HellRaisers, 10-5 up on their map pick. NRG trying to claw their way back into the second half. Well, they better do it, or will they meet their fates? As HellRaisers, yeah, I know, right, that was good. Lead the charge right now. A 5-round advantage, a pistol round, and then the anti-ecos, as we saw them win out in the first half, could suddenly mean that this first map is a very quick one indeed.
Exactly that, Harry. Scary prospects here for NRG, as when you look at the scoreboard as well, when we think of NRG, we think of their star players, right? Ethan, Cirque, Breezy as well, and looking at the scoreboard right now, Daps is the one leading the charge at 12 frags, and Cirque all the way down at the bottom. And when it's your in-game leader who is notorious for, heavily fragging, such as a Glaive or even an Angel as well, that is going to be a very, very worrying sign. And as they transition now onto their T side, it is going to be these star players who have to perform to open up these bomb sites, to challenge the likes of an Issa, a Fetz, for example, in towards middle on that CT side. So we're going to have to be seeing a resurgence or the sleeping giants to awake from their slumber if NRG have a chance in this first map.
Yeah, for those of you who are just joining us, this is map number 1 in the Group A winners best of 3. The winner of this heads on through to the semis. And the loser clearly does not. They have to keep on playing to try and secure their spot there. Right now, HellRaisers sitting with a pretty comfortable advantage. We've seen stand-up performance, I think, in particular from Issa. And as you highlighted, NRG with Daps leading the charge right now. That's not really the sort of stat line you want to see if you're a big NRG fan. As we head into the second half, we need to see more from the stars of Ethan and Cirque. They're going to be setting up over here towards this B bomb site, looking to try and play a contact play into B. Smoke rains in towards short. That's already pulled the rotation around from Angel.
Very smart setup here from HellRaisers. If you take a look at the map right now, it's Dead Fox playing at the balcony, Fetz baiting from a kitchen. This setup from HellRaisers makes it look, Harry, as if it's a B retake, as if there's no one on the site, there's no one holding it. Fetz is waiting for them to push, and then they go for the retakes and catch them off guard completely.
And it actually might have worked out. You're exactly right. Now Dead Fox pounces up from the apartments. He's only going to manage one. They would have loved for him to get a bit more done in that scenario, but it's Angel chiming it home as Fugly falls. Daps once again has to try and be the start of this team. 1v4 players all around and trapped up in the apartments, no armor. The aim punch going to be playing into it. Bondic finds the frag, and HellRaisers is going to be picking up their second pistol in map number 1.
Even though there's only one frag there from Dead Fox, it's about sending the comms, sending the communication into complete disarray. As soon as he gets that first frag, NRG are wondering, where on earth is this guy? You're playing on LAN, it's a silenced USP, the comms are going to be flowing anyway. I've got kitchen, I've got short, this is smoked, I'm holding this. So sending those communication into disarray allows for the other players just to push off short and exploit that. Angel catching a player, caught in the middle of the thick of it, in towards the site as well. Grants HellRaisers that second pistol. And now we witness the 11-5 half, and that could be the final nail in the coffin here for NRG into this first map of these best of 3s today.
Well, double stack into window from HellRaisers. Angel over on short. Certainly wouldn't want to be NRG over in mid anytime soon. And it looks to be like the call they might make. Going to look to try and run boost Breezy on in. Manages to get by, or at least for the time being, although it is all in vain. All 3 players over in mid get silenced, leaving Daps and Ethan. They're going to try and fall on in towards A and get this bomb down. It's not going to happen. Daps is good for 1. But nothing more will come of it. HellRaisers 12-5. But as a result of that bomb going down, now the buy does come in at the very least for NRG.
And with that bomb plant, it will allow them to invest into the Kalashnikovs, the 5 AK buy. So obviously there will be the caveat that there is no AWP here for Cirque early on. But then again, do you really want to be relying on him right now? Currently on 8 frags towards the bottom end of the scoreboard for NRG. And notorious as well for Cirque on Mirage. He was known for how aggressive he was in towards mid. But anyway, aggression here towards the middle portion of the map here from HellRaisers and NRG as they clash horns towards mid.
And now this aggression from NRG is starting to taper off down in middle. They have the man advantage. They've got some map control here as well to work with. Smoke over towards the top of Connector, going to allow Ethan and Cirque to tuck themselves away in here. HellRaisers is going to go ahead and take the gamble of rotating all 3 players in towards the B-bomb site, looking to play either for the stack or for the save, you imagine. Maybe they can catch a few players as they rotate up through mid. That's the dream. Will Bondic find anything?
The timing as well could be perfect, but instead HellRaisers is going to be conceding this one and throwing in the towel. For Angel, You have a 7-round advantage. You're very comfortable into this matchup. You're down a man early. You've got an SMG as well onto Dead Fox. Why not take that risk? Why not take that stack in towards the B site? If NRG come in towards B, through short, through B apartments, great. They're coming into the site you have stacked. You have a fighter's chance, a puncher's chance of winning that round off of just having the players stacked there. And if NRG do go towards the A site, well, look at the cash here from HellRaisers. It's not exactly anything to write home about. They can save their weaponry here. Dead Fox, Fets can drop over weapons to Issa and Angel, and we can see a very affluent, a very strong buy for HellRaisers into the next buy round itself. So, all in all, pragmatically, it all makes sense. And that's what we like to see.
That is, yeah, that's some good old clean Counter-Strike playing the long game here from HellRaisers. And exactly as you say, the weapon's going to be dropped over from Fates and Co. For NRG, they managed to keep players alive as well. Some money going to be starting to build up over on the side of NRG. Nothing really to write home about just yet, but always comes in handy when you do sit 6 rounds behind. It looks like it's going to be early mid-aggression in from NRG. Smoke into window. Fugly barreling on down over here towards Delpan. Does get by. And he sets up to keep an eye on short. Won't find anything just yet, but NRG have at least secured themselves a foothold in this avenue of the map.
Early on then, NRG going to be claiming control towards the mid portion of the map. Need to see what they can do with it and how they do utilize that map control in their favor currently. From HellRaisers, they were so good at getting that frag in towards Connector and towards Jungle and basically opening up space towards that A site and then splitting in towards Connector, towards A, and conversely towards short. Dead Fox now getting in close as well towards the B apartments. He's going to be able to signal that he is confident alone here, allow for Angel to leave B short and come in towards mid. So for HellRaisers, the rotations are there. They have the stack in towards Connector and in towards window. They're anticipating a play from NRG towards the A site. And right now, Harry, that will be the correct play to make. As NRG are poised outside T-spawn towards the A site, ready for the execution.
They catch Ethan looking away. They found themselves at man advantage down towards ramp, and oh my goodness, they all keep walking into Bondic and Fates, and they manage one, but still it's going to be going massively in the way of HellRaisers. Daps desperate to find something in this round, and instead all it is a bullet from Bondic. 13-6, and the money not looking great for NRG. You can buy on 3 players here. Timeout going to be called on in. And I mean, even how the timeouts have gone, they kind of speak volumes. NRG on their 3 of 4 timeouts, and you look over at HellRaisers, still yet to take one.
Obviously, it is quite unlucky here for NRG. We saw Daps make the exact same call in the last half when they were on their CT side, where they left him alone towards the B apartments. He had the UMP, the SMG in towards B apps. He had the rotation. I believe it was Ethan in towards middle, in towards Connector, and that allowed for a 4-player setup towards the A site. And obviously, HellRaisers went up short, and they went B, they killed Daps, and the round was over. For HellRaisers, it went in their favor. They left Dead Fox alone towards B apartments, and NRG did go towards the A site, so they fell in towards their trap. So it could be a game of rock, paper, scissors, you know, 50-50, a roll the dice. But all we can say for certain, Harry, is it is a 13-6 half, and that does reflect on how well Angel has called both T and CT here for HellRaisers, as they sit comfortable with the leads, but maybe not in terms of numbers in this round here, as Issa with the first frag early on.
NRG still going to try and challenge for mid. They want to try and find something in response to losing a man so early on. They think they might find solace over here in middle, but HellRaisers seem like they've willingly given this portion of the map up. You can see Angels rotated in to keep an eye on this window boost. Stacking 4 players, the vast majority over here towards A. Dead Fox starting to push up into the apartments. It's from this forward position he could try and get the information early on that players are heading this way. Holding down the angle, about to be tested. Daps walks into the crosshair, and this MP9 now roars to life. And it's frags aplenty for Dead Fox. He does all he has to and more. Angel comes rotating in, desperate to try and buy time, but instead, he's going to fall at the first hurdle now. A 2 versus 3. Ethan and Cirque, these are 2 of the names we've been bigging up all day. on this NRG roster. And now they need to show us why we hold these names to such a high standard. Cirque holding down the push. Out from market, all 3 players for HellRaisers retaken from the same angle. Cirque manages one, but that'll be it for him. And now it's Ethan. 6 HP back against the wall. And time ticking down for HellRaisers. Bondic wins the fight. Defuse going to come on through. He has the kit. And all the time in the world. The 14th round now for HellRaisers. NRG. There's going to be no money left.
Impeccable performance from Dead Fox towards the B-bomb site. Even saw a cheeky grin as well from Dead Fox himself. Pushed in towards B apartments. He has the early information. Not only does it get 2 frags with that MP9, it gets the 3rd dink as well. And with the forward position, you get early info, allowing for Angel to rotate on time, have the Molotov placed where they can't plant, denies the plant from NRG, slows down their round and allows for the rotations to come through from his teammates. All in all, a perfect round from Dead Fox. And once again, HellRaisers individually just manipulating the map in their favor.
And I mean, even in this one, Fates has found themselves the early man advantage here for HR. And I mean, after a beating like this, NRG might think about voting into HR. To how they've been mistreated. Thank you. I like the, you know, I get the snod side of approval at least on some of these. But yeah, these nades doing damage down on the players down here in lower tunnels. Gonna leave them wanting. They're desperate to find something. They're gonna edge on forward, but Angel's posted up, and there might be a smoke there. Angels rain down death from above.
Almost as if NRG have mentally tapped out of this matchup. It's going to go 15-6 with 9 match points in favor of the international squad of HellRaisers. 40 seconds left on the clock for Ethan to try and get some frags. Maybe just confidence. He's not going to win that round, but if he lands a few 1Ds, he can get some confidence going into overpass the next matchup. And a scary prospect as well here for NRG is the fact that your star AWPer hasn't warmed up yet. And these next maps in these best of 3s, Harry, overpass, train, are very AWP-heavy maps. And that's going to be a big key to victory, an asterisk against NRG going into these next matchups here in the best of 3. But anyway, for NRG, they will be going for the final buy-up into this aforementioned final round. 4 AKs, a 1 CZ is the difference between a 16-6 and NRG maybe pulling this one even further.
I mean, they are really going back to basics with this one. It's the set piece in towards this A bomb site. And already, HellRaisers gonna start to pull a couple of players over. Fates is up on the stairs. The smoke now nullifies him. So all this pressure gonna fall on a Bondic, and both him and Fates fall at the first hurdle. This bomb gonna go down. NRG sitting with a comfortable man advantage here. 3v5 in the retake for HellRaisers. You imagine their sights will return to saving in this scenario. They're going to stick around. They do still have the cash to invest into the next round regardless. You can already see Angel tapering off along with Dead Fox. But he's just hanging around. He wants to try and make this a little bit more expensive perhaps for NRG.
Precisely that, Harry. We'll pick up the AWP. Exit frags as well from Dead Fox. Issa was looking for those as well to try their best to dent and cause some damage to the terrorist side economy. Trying his best to force out some Tech 9s or some weakened firepower, but NRG going to be surviving with 4 players. They can get the drop from Breezy to allow for the full Kalashnikov bar here. Not quite affluent enough though to afford the AWP for Cirque, but so far for NRG into this matchup, 15-7 down. Is the AWP really that much of a focal point for them so far, as 8 match points still in the favor and the bag for HellRaisers to close this one out. I'm not going to be feeling too worried as well for them. But on the desk, though, they were alluding to a 3-mapper. They were alluding to Train coming up into this one, so no surprise to see HellRaisers doing well on Mirage. The question is, can NRG wake up for Train, for Overpass, or HellRaisers catch them within the fog lights?
Well, Fugly certainly started to find a bit more form. Barrels in towards B. Will be silenced by Issa with this bomb. It's all been a ruse. Bondic gets away with way more than he should have done, though. A quick double from inside of that A bomb site. Now the bomb loaded onto the back of Ethan as he looks to try and rendezvous with Daps. It's been a full rotation from HellRaisers. As they stack up inside of A, the bomb's going to be afforded to them and does look like it's going to go down inside of this B bomb site. 2v2 for the retake, and Issa still a long way away. The question now becomes, do HellRaisers attempt to go for this one?
When you're looking at the cash here, Harry, they definitely shouldn't. If they want to have a drop or a buy up into the next round, they're going to have to try and save this one and then buy again into the 24th. But it seems like with the defuse kits, with the utility as well, they will roll the dice on this and try their luck. Daps close up towards short. Going to be holding the angle from Fetz, who walks up with the AWP. So has to land up a close range shot with the AWP and misses that one. Close quarters and will not be gifted a second chance. As Issa, the man of the match so far in terms of firepower, in terms of pulling HellRaisers to this stark lead to try and get the job done into the clutch. But it seems like NRG, with the experience, not going to be giving him any chances here, not going to be over-facing in the after plant. And with that, 15-8 is on the scoreboard. Are we seeing the potential for a comeback here?
Well, NRG, they need 7 rounds. HellRaisers going to be able to get one more buy here. But then they will be eco down in the next. There is always that chance. It's always in the back of your head. If some of these key players start to find their footing, start to step up, then NRG certainly could go toe-to-toe with HellRaisers here. That nade going to find so much damage early on, though, onto Breezy. Angel posted up with the AWP.
Wow, I haven't seen that in a long time. The boost in from window, in towards short. 1 minute 25 left on the clock. As we see HellRaisers push in towards ramp. Currently gaining information, but they're going to be gaining a fight here towards T-spawn as it's Breezy and Cirque to basically lay them dead on the floor and make themselves a supper. 5 versus 3 here, Harry. Seems like NRG are going to get their 9th unless Angel has something to say about it.
Well, he lies in wait. That's that first shot missed, and that might be the first and only shot that he takes. Actually, there's a gap in that smoke, so he's going to hang around a little bit longer. Too tempting for him to back away. Fugly falls down here as he aggresses over towards short. That's an AK for Dead Fox to upgrade onto as well. Regardless, going to be a 9th round for NRG. As they look to try and make this comeback possible. Tell you what, it's 33 degrees right here in Shanghai. But things are heating up that much more now inside of the server. So 6 rounds is all that's needed for NRG to claw this one back to an overtime in map number 1.
6 rounds indeed, and with the complacency from HellRaisers having that 15-6 lead, does that give a window of opportunity for NRG to fight back into this one? So far as well, I mean, in terms of the play they've had, it's been slow, methodical. They take map control towards middle. They slow the pace of the round down. It's been HellRaisers that have been forcing the end of the matchup, forcing the issue. Aggression towards ramp, over-facing towards short, conceding the first frag for NRG to use and manipulate in their advantage. So for me, with the pause coming through from HellRaisers, I wanted to see a calm, calculated approach to this next matchup or this next round. Play it slow, play it passive. You have the AWP from Angel, so you can play towards CT, do the similar affair we saw from Cirque, where he AWPs towards CT, holds in towards ramp and pallets, can peer in towards connector as well if HellRaisers do take domain towards middle. But for now, it is obviously going to be the quasi-buy from HellRaisers in terms of their cash. M4 for Fetz. M4, actually this buy is a lot better than I thought, Harry. They're going to be having maybe 2-3 rifles to work with, and AWP onto Dead Fox as well, as he's going to be taking that towards the B-bomb side.
Yeah, these, of course, the handful of weapons that were scavenged and brought forward. Relying on Dead Fox to be the anchor over here towards B with that AWP. That's the weight of the world on his shoulders. Is that going to be too much for him to bear? Only time will tell. As you kind of alluded to, that was a 15-6 lead in favor of HellRaisers. NRG now sitting 9 at 15. Slowly but surely closing that gap. They're going to be in the minds of HR. And on the back of this tactical pause, you can see NRG, they've switched things up drastically. They've slowed right down, holding all these major avenues, waiting to see if HellRaisers tried their hands at aggression across the map. Getting into the mind of Angel, deciding, of course, how to play this round now.
Well, that is what they're expecting. They know that there's an AWP in play that was saved. They're expecting a CT push. With that AWP, maybe the infra as well to back it up towards Palace, in towards Short potentially, or even in towards the B apartments. That's why they were holding. And now maybe they've left it too late on the clock. 30 seconds left here, Harry, as they are going to be pinning, lining up, and getting ready for the execution towards the A site. But Fet's bonding there in front of these smokes.
Yeah, these pistols looking to do damage up close. Fates baits them in, and now Bondic pounces up close. It's Ethan and Daps from Palace to start to create opportunities in this A-bomb site. Just Dead Fox and Issa left alive, but that's the first frag found. The bomb will go down, and now Cirque trying to show us what we talk about him so much, but he will fall short. Dead Fox wins the fight, and on the back of it, HellRaisers is going to be closing out map number 1, 16-9. As they deny NRG overtime, they managed to finally close out their map pick. They're going to move 1-0 up in this series. As you can see, smiles and high fives all around. Pretty convincing performance there, don't you think?
Almost, definitely, especially when we have the, 15-6 lead. So close to finishing that match off. But so far for HellRaisers, early doors is looking good.
Yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and throw this one over to a break, and then we'll be back with the analyst desk and map number 2.